Okay, so we learned already about the break and continue. And I guess you already learned from the learning check last time. So if we have while, if we have while like this one, we can use also the break. So what does it mean by this? I is one at the first time, and then while true. So the condition is always true. If we want to stop it, then we need to have break. So when I is higher than 3, it will be break. There is no condition for this one, but we can just run this one and there is no infinite loop. Yeah, this is an example in different language. So if you use C, then we will have like this kind of loop. Do while, so the condition is at the end, like this one. Now there is another problem, how to display prime numbers. You know prime numbers? So prime numbers is the numbers that can be divided by 1 and its number. So for example, 2, 3, 5, 7, they are prime numbers, but like 4, 6, 8, and 9, they are not. The problem is, write a program that displays the first 50 prime numbers in 5 lines, and it's contain 10 numbers. Any integer greater than 1 is prime if it's on the positive divisor is 1 or itself. So for example, 4 can be divided by 2. So this is not prime. 5 can be divided by 1 and 5 can only be divided by 5. So this is prime number. We can break the problem into some tests. First, we test whether the number is prime number or not. If we already check, then count the prime numbers. And let's print the prime numbers and only 10 numbers per line. So you can see the prime number example. So number of prime 50, and then per line we have 10, and then that the count be 0 for the first time, and then number it start from 2. So the first 50 prime numbers are like this one. If the count is still less than the number of primes, so we will check if this prime is true. Okay, if everything is true, then yeah, we will do the things. Divisor is 2. So if 2 less than equal to number divided by 2, now we will check whether the number can be divided by the divisor or not. If the number cannot be divided, then we will do the next division. But if the number can be divided by the number, so the is prime is false. It means it is not a prime number. So we can just break, because if we start from 2, so any number divided by 2, if 5 not divided by 2, okay, then skip, we go to the next. 5 divided by 3, no. We go to the next. 5 divided by 4, no. We go to the next. 5 divided by 5, okay. If it is true, then we go to, so if it is true, then it becomes false. And if every numbers has been checked, so we will do the if prime. If prime means, yeah, if the current number is prime, we will increase by 1. If it is false, then we will not do this one. So we will print the number. We have 5D. You still remember? 5 means we have the 5 space, and D indicates the number. So the count, we would like to check if the count already received 10. So if 10 divided by 10 equals to 0, then we will go to the next line. Number will be added by 1 after we finish all the process. You can see this result. 2, 3, 5, 7, 11, 13, 17, 19, 23, 29. We have already 10 numbers. Then we go to the next line. We go to the next line after 10 numbers, so we print 50 numbers. Here's another example for doing the loop. We call it, this is a cumulative sum. The cumulative sum means we want to give input, we want to give the positive integer number until 10 times, and then do the summation. For example, I give number 3. Okay. Then 3 will be added with the next input, for example 4. And then it will be added by the next number, which is 5. And so on. Until we have 10 numbers. So I have cumulative sum. Oh, sorry, I didn't provide the code. Okay, so you can try how to put this one. Okay. Now we have this another problem. We want to add the numbers, but the input is only positive numbers. If we have a negative number, let's stop. Okay. So how can we do this one? Okay, I don't have this one. Okay, let me just make it new one here. So we are going to add numbers. Let's say I have number equals to integer input, enter a number. Okay. And then I want to add all those numbers. We can have total equals to the total plus num. Okay, so let me just make it simple for you. Total start from 0. So if you do this one, enter a number. So I give 10. Okay, I will do the print total. If I enter 10, then it is only one time. Now, how if I want to make it as a loop? So I want to do for 10 times. Okay, then let me start num with 0. And then for I in I want to do it for 10 times. Okay, you can do with the range 1 until 11, or you can do a range from 0 until 10. Okay, it is same. Now you know that every of the statement inside of the for, if it is true, then it should be indented. Okay, let me just make it 5 for example. Enter a number 5, 3, 2, 1, 2. So it's wrong. The result is 2. Why? Can you find what is this mistake? Every time total equals to 0. So you cannot put this one here. You should put the total outside. Now, if I press it again, enter a number 5, 3, 2, 1, 2. So the total is 13. Okay. So we have this simple cumulative sum. The second problem, we want to use sentinel value. You still remember what is sentinel value? So if the number is not the positive number, then stop. So the condition is we can change this one while num is higher than equal to 0, then let's do it now. So we can try. We have 5. We have 5, 3, 2, 1. And let's say we have -1. So it stopped. 5 plus 3 plus 2 plus 1 plus -1. So actually this one is included in the process. Okay. So how can we exclude it on the process? If it is -1, so we do not want to be included. Then you can just give the minus with the num at the total, because at the end you want to have the total, but you do not want to include the last number. The last number is the negative number. So I can use this one. 5, 3, 2, 1, and let's say -1. So the result is still the same, 11. Because we have 5 plus 3 plus 2 plus 1 is 11. And we exclude this one. Okay. Okay, so in this section, we learn about the while, and then the for loop, nested loop, okay, and you learn also about the break and continue statement. So on Thursday, I will give you the code challenge, as I mentioned to you. The time will be 10 minutes. So you need to solve the problem using the if and for loop. The problem will be something related to this one. Okay, so please try to understand this one and how to make this one with the nested for loop. Please practice. Okay, so I will go to the next section. This is about function. And I give you the code, chapter 05. So in your computers, I think if you use Windows, you will have the same with mine. Just copy and paste, and then create a new directory. Chapter 05, and then I will paste here. Okay, so all the examples already in this place. In the function, we will learn at least also 3 things. The first is function without written values, and the next is function with written values. And then we will learn what is the difference between global and local variables. Function, or sometimes we call it methods. For the first part, we will learn functions without written values. Okay, if you look this one, can you understand what is it? Sum equals 0. I have I in range between 1 until 10. I will do the sum. So it will do the summation from 1 until 10. I have another function, I have another statement, sum equals to 0. But now I want to sum between 20 until 37. Okay, I will do the summation, and then I will bring the sum. The next, I also declare sum equal to 0. And then the number will be from 35 until 49. I will do the sum and I will print. Can you see the similarity between the code? Can you see anything similar? Yes. The similar part is the statement. So what is the difference? The code are similar. What are the difference? The difference only the number. Okay? The numbers are different, but all the structure are the same. So we can see that those codes are the same. Only the input are different. Then how about if we make a good solution? For example, just make one like this one, and then you can call the function which is sum. In this case, sum. I have number 1 and I have number 2. So this number 1 will be in I1. This number 1 will be in I2. And then in the for loop, we will use the variable of I1 and we will use the variable of I2. The summation function is the same, but we don't need to make 3 times of this code. We just make one, and then every code can call this method. So this is what we are going to learn. So function, we call it function, or sometimes we call it method. It is a collection of statements that are grouped together to perform an operation. So usually we have def, okay, for making a function. And then we need to declare the function name. And then we need to have the formal parameters. We still need the column. After the column, we will have the statement. What we are going to do when we call this method. So we call this is the function body. And then we have a return value. If you check this one, okay, I want to see the number 1 and number 2. Which one is greater, whether it is number 1 or number 2. If number 1 is higher than number 2, then the result is number 1. If not, if it is not the case, then the result is number 2. We can call the function using this way. We call the function name. If the function name is max, so we call max. And then we check how many parameters do we have. If we have 2, then we need to define 2. So this will be the actual parameters. A function contains a header and body. So this is the header and this is the body. The header begins with the def keyword, and followed by function name and parameters, followed by function name and parameters. The variables defined in the function header are known as formal parameters. So we have this one as the formal parameters. when a function is invoked is executed. When we execute the function, you pass a value to the parameter. So this value is referred to actual parameter or argument. So here, if you give 5 and 6, then 5 will go to the number 1 and 6 will go to the number 2 in this formal parameter. And after that, we will do the checking. 5 will be number 1 and 6 will be number 2, and so on. And return value means a function may return a value using the return keyword. So the return value, it means the result. Whenever you have function, you want to show the result or you want to return the result, then you need to specify return statement. So let's see the max function. I have one function, max, and then num1, num2. So there are two formal parameters. This is the body. So if num1 is higher than num2, then result num1. Otherwise, result num2. And I want to return the result. So this is a main function. Let's say I'm making the def and the name of the function is main. So I would like to declare I equals to 5 and j equals to 2. I would like to check what is the maximum between 5 and 2. You know, of course, from this number, 5 is higher. But computer, we need to make a code in order the computer can give us the correct value. 5 and 2, of course, we know it is I is 5, j is 2. So when we call the maximum I and j, I becomes the number in this one, and j becomes the number of num2. It means now we have the value 5 and 2. So we are going to check if 5 is greater than 2, yes, then result is num1. We will not execute this and we will go directly to result. So result will be written. And we will print. So result will be in this variable, which is k. And then we will get the result. The maximum between I and j is k. Okay, so the maximum between 5 and 2 is 5. So what I mentioned to you, when you call the function, please look at the parameter. So the parameter, let's say this one, I give I and j. So I will go to the first, which is num1, and j will go to the second, which is num2. The first part is calling the main function. After we call the main function, we will do this one, we will do this one, and then we will do this one. So when we call this one, it will go to the maximum function, And then we will do this one, we will do this one, and then return the value to k. After that, we will print and return back to here. Okay, so this is the step for calling the function. Okay, I give you this animation. So the main will be executed. J is now 2. Now invoke or execute max ij. And then pass the value of I to num1, pass the value j to num2. And then check whether it's true. So, okay, this is true. So the result is 5. We return back to the k and then print and end. Okay, so that's the step for doing the function. Actually, there's a kind of we call it stack in the in computer. They have a mechanism how to invoke the object, or we call this is j and I, how we can invoke them, and then how the computer receive it into a kind of memory. So for example, when I is 5 and j is 2, so computer will create a place, a memory. And this memory, the first memory is for the I, which is 5, and the second memory is for j, which is 2. And then when we call the function, we have num1 and num2. So when I is assigned to the maximum function, the num1 will also refer to the same object as I. And num2 will refer to the same object as j. So this is only how the numbers run in the computer. So after we select all the things, at the end, the stack will be empty according to the main function after we finish all the methods. There are some functions where the functions we have no return values. So function without return values. The function that we learned at the first time, we have the return values, but some function does not return a value. So let's see these two examples. I have been create functions. Okay. If you look at this code without running it, what can you expect for the result? This is a print create function, and there will be one parameter. The score, if it is given, then it will check. Okay, if the score is higher equal to 90, that's print A. If the score is lower than 90 and higher than 80, that's print B, and so on. Now we have the main function. In the main function, we are going to enter a score, so the user can input any score. And then, in order to show the grade, we would like to call the function print grade. And then we use the input from the user as the value to check the grade. For example, I would like to enter score 50. Okay, the grade is F. Here we want to print the grade, and the grade will be after this line, and we are going to print according to the score. The score is 50. So if 50, then is it higher than 90? No. Is it higher than 80? No. Is it higher than 70? No. Is it higher than 60? No. Then the result is F. Return grade function. So I can also give you another things. This is almost the same with the previous one, but we do not print. Instead of print, we return the grade. So the if is the same, the if is the same, if is the same. But here we want to print the grade is something something. Now we want to call the function name, which is getGrade. The same, we have one parameter which is score. So score will be checked according to this condition, and then we will return the grade. So sometimes there might be a known value. So a function that does not return a value is known as a void function. So if you have like this one, there is no return. Okay, you cannot see any return here. So there is no return. And in some other programming language, they call it like as a void function. So in Java, in C++, in C#, yeah, they have void. Okay. But in Python, it is not obvious. It's not clear. So in Python, such function return a special none. So there is no return value, and in Python, they will return as none, but we cannot see it. So if you learn later about other programming language, maybe C++ or C#, this you can see the void. But in Python, you cannot see the void. Now let's have this Python code. I have the end print line, and then I have message and n. For I in range 0 until n, print message. So suppose you invoke the function using end print line welcome to Python, 5. What is the output? So if you do this one, welcome to Python, 5, then welcome to Python will be the message, and then 5 will be the end. Then we will run the for loop from 0 until n, because n is 5, then we will run 5 times. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we will print the message. Then it means I will print welcome to Python for 5 times. What about this one? This is the same. I want to print computer science for 15 times. But can I do with this one? Let's check. So I will make this one. Okay, I will do this one and I will call, say, okay, Python, comma, 5. If you use PyCharm, you can see that the first parameter is message. So you can see this is message. It belongs to this value. And this end belongs to this value. So if you run this, then you will see Python, 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 Python for 5 times. Now, if I replace this one with 5, and then I replace this one with Python, is it okay? Then it is wrong. Why? We want to put n as the limit for the loop. So it is not possible to make a limit with string. That's why it is error. So this is one of the example of running time error. So what is wrong in this case? The wrong is the sequence, because you put the wrong sequence. But now, can we use this one? So I would like to declare the variable. So the first variable is n equals to 5. And then I would like to declare this as a message. So is it working? Yes, this works. So we don't care the location as long as you define what is the variable name. Okay. Even though message at the end, but because we know it will be the value of message and n will be the value of n. So we don't care about the order. Okay. Let me stop here. Let's have a break.